We're here with Randy Bales, a man who needs no introduction, at the Bales Sport Garage.
All right.
Thanks, Randy. Thanks for coming.
Gentlemen, welcome to my home.
Thanks for having us.
We're in trouble now.
Yes.
I'm excited that you guys are you're utilizing the space. As you know, I love cars. There's a few of them around us, but happy to have the Bales Sport Garage being used for content for cars again. This is great.
We cannot thank you enough for letting us set up here.
I'm excited about what you guys are doing with DashTag. I think this is a great addition to what you're doing. First off, the fundamentals of what you're doing, needed. It's telling a story in itself, right? And putting that out there for more enthusiasts. But even more so, just the organization that you guys do it. And then now that we have, a podcast to go with it, there's a lot of cool people out there with cool cars, guys, and I'm excited that you're going to explore their stories.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. We want to tell the story. So I grew up in a hot rod shop, and just seeing these old guys die and all that information die with them, that's heartbreaking to a guy like me.
Yeah, I mean, I used to actually think, so then we started hitting hybrids and electric cars and all this, and you start to think, like, are the speed shops going to die away? And then it kind of hit me like, no, because they're not making any more of these. So if anything, it's becoming an art to preserve them. And we're seeing it with car values and enthusiasts kind of start picking out new niches, whether it be off-road trucks or cars or foreign and domestic. And I think that what we really need is specialists to get in there, and I think you're going to see a lot less shade tree kind of mechanics, and you're going to start seeing specialists like we do in the Porsche field start heading into the preservation of what we kind of think is like everyday sports cars right now, but they won't be, because every single car, whether you might think it's significant or not now, is going to be special in its own way, and I think the cars deserve that, especially the owners.
Yeah, and we kind of joked on one of our podcasts before about old BMWs. Like, when you see an old BMW, that means two things: either that guy's got a lot of money and successful, or he's really smart and knows how to fix things. And I think that's how you see old cars now too.
I mean, you say BMWs, they have like a timeless interior. They tend to be really durable. I saw one on Facebook the other day, said perfect condition with 180,000 miles on it. It was not, but that's also a BMW trait, by the way.
Yeah, the owner.
But the interiors, they last a long time. So that's definitely a brand that I think will stand the test of time with enthusiasts and the durability of the car.
Yeah.
So I don't think you actually own a BMW, though, do you?
No, but one of my buddies, Tom, and I, Tom's really into BMWs, you guys know him. I made a bet after we finished our next project that he has to shave his beard, which he hasn't done since high school. And his counter to that bet was that I have to buy a BMW. I'm not opposed to it. It would probably be, I would say it would be a V8 M3. Okay. It doesn't have to be some top dog, but I've actually always wanted an M3, but it has to be a manual.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. That M3, I even like the E90 four-door body in that M3 with the naturally aspirated V8. That's a great car.
Yeah, but like I said, I think we're getting in the car culture where it doesn't matter. Like, if you show up in a four-door Nova, but it's clean, I like it.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a two-door. Doesn't have to be hot. I don't even like Novas. I'm like, yeah,
like an old
good.
Rambler, right? Like just a cruiser.
Yeah. And I think there's fun cars out there that are kind of like the fact that Grand Wagoneers started getting restored, like people like Shaquille O'Neal own them, and people are spending money. And then I do a lot of the insurance for Velocity restorations, and the fact that these guys are nut and bolting not just Broncos and K10s anymore, but they're going across the board. I mean, we've got a lot of cool companies out there doing the restoration, but I'm more interested in which cars they're doing the restorations to.
Yeah.
We can have a half a dozen Porsche companies that are going to do it meticulously in a great car, but what are we going to see next? Like 80s Monte Carlos? Like, not a bad niche.
No. Cool. El Caminos came back. Like, that'd be kind of fun to see. Like,
dirt cheap. Go buy one of those right now. Dirt cheap. If those come back, that'll be like your Bitcoin boom right there. Yeah, an El Camino. We were just in quotes on one today. I was like, oh, I like this guy's collection. I can appreciate it.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of collections, you have I mean, really like the greatest hits. Like if this was a rock band, this is the greatest hits behind us. And I know people who've watched the podcast saw the scenery change. We went from someone else's car condo into this, and I'm sure they're starting to like scope through the back and like, oh man, that's an AC Cobra. So tell us a little bit about like what you've acquired here, what it means to you.
I don't know that any of these cars ended up here purposely or by accident. So I have a list. In fact, my good buddy Austin, his Daytona body is sitting over in the corner. That'll be hopefully the world's fastest Shelby car once that's finished. We can talk about that later. But one night we were having cigars and whiskey, and we, on a napkin, wrote down 50 cars. It was and this is when $1 million was $1 million a few years ago. It was 50 cars you could pick out. So you had to, it was kind of like your video game thing. You can only put your attributes up so high. So we had a couple high dollar cars and some smaller ones.
Yeah.
I have a list in the back of my head always. I am wildly addicted to Bring a Trailer. You can go look up Bales team and see what I've bid on, purchased on. But I point blank, like my Instagram says, I collect the cars that I wanted in high school. If there is a way to go ahead and reward the younger kid inside of you, and I don't think enough men do it, is reward the hard work that you were longing for as a kid. Like, what did you want when you were a kid? I couldn't afford that stuff. I didn't even know if I could, but I wanted to try. Turns out trying worked. And so, yeah, everything you see here has a story, and a very elaborate story. Some cars were purchased within 2 hours of finding them. I've been thankful enough to not be apprehensive on purchases. If I see something I like and it's worth it, more is lost in indecision than bad decision. And I don't feel like cars are kind of like tattoos. They're all going to tell a story. I mean, I got some weird stuff in here, and it could get way weirder. I mean, Facebook Marketplace exists, right? There should be a limo in here with horns somewhere at this point. But I mean, it really, what do you want me to talk about? Pick a car.
Well, so to go back on weird stuff, it is odd seeing you in a Prius. I'm not going to lie. And when you rolled in a Prius to tonight's show, I thought that's LS swapped. Like, it has to be. Like, there's no way that is just a normal Prius.
Yeah, no, that should happen. So don't turn off the podcast at this point. Just give me 1 minute. I've owned 3 Priuses. We actually call it the bullet car with my kids. They are bulletproof. Prius stories. First car I ever bought new. Shouldn't have done that. Immediately bought another one. Had 2 of them at one point. Within a week, sanded it down and bedlinered the entire exterior of it. Drove it around a rhino-lined Prius, essentially. The one before that I brought above tree line on Mount Princeton down in Salida on the off-road trail, above tree line. Ripped the front bumper off, the rear bumper off. I maybe some super glue on that afterward. And then the rhino-lined one happened. And then recently, how did I end up into one? Well, I bought a Tesla. It's a great car. It's not soulless like people say. No. You're wrong. It's fast. It's amazing for a daily driver. It's American made. I had all American made cars at the time. But then my wife encouraged me one night to go buy a CT5 Blackwing. I love her. She's fantastic, isn't she?
Yeah, shout out to Michelle.
Yeah. That car is trouble. I won't elaborate on that story. It was my favorite car by a long shot. I put 8,000 miles on it in 6 months. Enjoyed it. Sold it to a nice gentleman in Texas because I bought another Prius. And that's what I'm daily driving right now. I have a Humvee up at the house. I have a V10 Excursion behind us. I have all these, but you know what? Door dings. No one gets mad when a Prius comes by. I'm doing 15 over on the highway.
Fair.
I'm using my turn signals, unlike those BMW guys. But yeah, I daily drive a Prius.
All right, so I don't think we can go through the whole collection. I mean, you just have a lot here, but it seems Ford heavy.
Yeah.
Shelby heavy.
So I got 4 kids. My second to last is named Ford. Tried to get the last one to be named Chevy. I lost on that one, so we named him Jameson. But yeah, I love Fords.
Yeah.
My whole family growing up was mostly Chevy people. They, for some reason, thought I had some kind of disease. I grew up going to like dirt track oval racing, like Grundy County, like the country songs. I was there. My uncle raced sprint cars. And here's the thing about what I think brands really need to understand is the first car is the hook. So a friend was leaving for the military, had a blue Ford Mustang GT. His dad was unloading it quick, and at the time I've always liked, paying cash for stuff. Showed up and bought it. So my first sports car, I had Jeeps and stuff, was a Ford Mustang.
And how old were you when you bought this?
I was probably 20.
Okay.
Yeah, it was all Jeeps and off-road stuff, motorcycles before that. That was my first sports car. And the irony was I found out that they're actually cheaper than Jeeps. See, Jeeps, you build and you purposely try to destroy them. And boats are bust out another 1,000.
Yeah.
But sports cars really aren't that bad if they're not being drag raced consistently.
Sure.
So, yeah, I had a blue Ford Mustang 06 GT, and that was my first heavy into modifications in a 2-car garage back in Bloomington, Illinois. And from there, it's just you learn the smell of the carpeting, and it just kind of, it's like that pheromone when you're looking for some automotive relief. So it ended up down a Ford path pretty quick, and I've owned a shit ton of Mustangs at this point. Interesting car group in itself, just like any car loyalty, kind of you have your eclectic or your stereotypical things. But yeah, mostly Fords, but I got some Chevys too, and I've, so the Vet, I bought my dad 03 Z06 for his 65th birthday. And I was so proud, as you should be, to be able to do that for your dad. He sold it a year later to buy a pontoon boat. I was pissed, and I didn't talk to him for 2 months because I thought that car would come back to the collection. He still, to this day, doesn't let me drive the pontoon boat. Dad, I hope you're watching this.
Salt in the wound.
Yeah, and he ended up having a sentimental, teary-eyed conversation. He had to have hip replacement surgery. He couldn't do the clutch anymore. So I forgave him, and 3 days later, I bought this car, which is nearly the identical car, and I clapped it out.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of first discovered your driving prowess in Automobile. I mean, I've known you for years before then, but I've never really driven with you. And, I remember watching you with your big headset, noise canceling or intercom thing and that. And I'm like, what is going on here? And then you turned it on. And it was the loudest, nimblest, slowest car that somehow you made it fast. Made it look fast, made it feel fast.
Yeah.
Right. And clapped out's an interesting term, right? Because you look at this, it's got more stickers on it than you could, ever want. Yeah, tell me a little bit about this and why you clapped it out and what it means to you and kind of my opinion of that first kind of...
Yeah, first year Automobile, invited by Rob Rubenstein at Drake Motor Cars. Awesome facility, go check that out. Yeah, he invited me. I had a 720S that first year. It was fun. But since I was a little new and there was a couple people that were a little raw, I got a lot of trouble. The only reason you're hanging is because you have 700 horsepower.
Right.
So I made it a point to buy the cheapest vehicle I possibly could bring the next year, and still there might be an arrogance in that, but it's just a challenge for me.
Sure.
So I paid $18,000 for the car. Had 60,000 miles on it, 58,000 miles on it. And immediately before the car was even home, had $9,000 aluminum hat brakes sitting next to it. And then I just threw the book at it. So it is a great platform. I was never a huge Corvette fan to the extent that I think I am now, because it's a good platform. That being said, suspension, I could go through the whole list, but good platform, and it rocks. It's running 315s front and rear, square setup on sticky tires. It's your own problem if you're wearing 4S's to the show. There are stickier tires to bring on a rally. Yeah, I might replace them every rally, but it's okay. So yeah, the Vet, it's good. And every year we've kind of made a few different modifications. First year was kind of a sleeper, and it really was. And then we went with the full 9 Live Zero kit, and they did that the Ron Fellows livery on it, which we did in advance, and they did a great job.
So it's actually an intentional livery. It's not a random assortment of stickers.
The car was at Spring Mountain, which is Fellows' facility out in Vegas. When we were out there on a rally, ran that track hard. ran with GT3, GT2s. Everyone thinks that's a bullshit line when I bring that up, by the way. There's videos. I will late break into a corner because I don't care if it wads up into a ball. I have 18 grand into it.
Yeah.
Plus change. Yeah. But yeah, it's just a fun, guiltless car. Like if you said I had to jump in a car and it didn't matter where I was going to go, it's extremely reliable with 70,000 miles on it. No engine work except for cooling. Stage 2 trans. But yeah, it's my beater. It's my fun car. It's less comfortable as I get older. I have ruined it, but now it just needs race buckets.
Yeah.
So.
Going back to, the Mustang at 20 kind of kicking off your later years of passion, but were you always a car kid? Like from 0 to 20, was it, the Hot Wheels and video games?
Yeah. Always loved cars. Cars and motorcycles growing up. It's I think you get an itch. Like I said, my family, we didn't have any extra special cars. My dad sold his Corvette before my sister was born, who's older than me. But I just would look at cars and I would be the kid that would just go like this. I'll never forget in Mokina, Illinois, being at the volleyball courts in the parking lot like high school students do, and just seeing, I think it might have been like my first real AC Cobra experience. And I remember getting in the car with my dad after whatever shindig we were doing there. And I said, there's 3 things I'm going to have in life, Dad. And he's like, what? I'm like, I'm going to have a wife, I'm going to have kids, and I'm going to have an AC Cobra. I swear that, I have that now. But
That is awesome.
yeah, you just, I had an itch. I had posters on my wall. And you wrench on anything. Like, I swear I still, like, Racing Simulator is great. I don't know about you guys, but I learned on Forza. Some people learned on Gran Turismo. Other people, it was Need for Speed. I liked the more realistic stuff. I play hours of racing games. It just, you have that itch. And then the first time you wrench on a car, oh man. I still love grease under my fingernails.
I was going to ask. So, this is a big fleet to maintain.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have friends who can help because some of this stuff's pretty specialty, but you also work on all this, right? Like
Correct.
The Excursion was built in-house by you?
Yeah. That was like a automotively, like that was a divorce project for me. That happened to me, and there were some fundamentals that kept me in good conscience, a good mental state. That Excursion, we call it the dad van. I built it for my kids, and for 18 months, I don't think we missed a weekend of living in it. My son wasn't even 1 year old. I remember on his first birthday having a cupcake, my daughter going up to the tent, Randy standing. Don't look at me like that. I'll start. No, you cry. I'll cry. You cry. I remember him sitting there on the little table, and it was the first night I felt safe enough to have pour like a whiskey and Coke, because I'm out there in the middle of nowhere by myself. But the dad van, there's 40 hours into those fenders to make them custom. That to be able to wrench on that and build that, and I think at one point Chris from Expedition Portal, who had a really sweet Expedition, is like, I think you have the coolest Expedition in the world. I was like, sweet.
Yeah.
And I got to build it.
Yeah.
So yeah, what is it? Is it Toretto? You don't own your car unless you work on it, or something like that.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that.
For me, and someone said this the other day because I was complaining, I was just so busy. I've just been hit with a bad luck, as you do when you own multiple cars. It seems like when it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
All the oil changes have to be done. It was like just a bad series of events. We had issue with the Raptor, power steering pump went out, AC went out on the Acura, the BMW is now chewing through oil. Everything's gone wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I've got to schedule in, I have Sundays now are really my only day off. I got to schedule my only day off now to work on these cars. And someone's like, well, just bring it to a shop. And I keep hearing these words back in my head that I grew up with. And it was, if you have the skill to do it, you need to do it. And it's because you lose that skill if you don't. And I think personally for me, I will never get to a point where I'm too wealthy or too busy to take that time to do it. It is that religious experience for me.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I agree. Religious experience for that. 2 points to that. Don't give me credit on the collection, because to your point, I have a bad habit of, if a car breaks, I just go buy another one and then I go back and fix it. So that's a little bit why it got out of control. But yeah, working on it. The reason, so I have a passion for the car community, the people around it. I know you guys do too. But when this shop is finished, I think it'll be one of the most unique things that maybe the internet's seen. And the reason is because for its showcase and museum quality that'll come from this, but then there's a 3-bay shop back there for long-term builds, short-term builds. We have room for a paint booth if we really wanted to, but also displaying on triple stackers, a bar up here to have social events. I mean, it was really built to be a hub so that you could do all facets of cars. Like, my favorite pastimes are pouring one of these, maybe lighting something up and wrenching. I always say, if I don't want to give myself credit either there, I still need adult supervision when I work on a car. I have a handful of friends who's like, I need adult supervision. Can you come over? I think I know how to do it. I probably know how to do it.
Sure.
Probably just need an excuse to hang out with a buddy. And 2 brains are better than 1 when it comes to that. So, yeah, if you're not working on your cars, it's not a tease. You're just missing out. Like,
yeah, and I think you owe it to yourself. Like I said, even if you get to a point where you have the money and can send it to somebody else, you owe it to yourself to do that. Keep that skill sharp.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up in an old school hot rod shop, and I remember my boss telling me, he could go to church on Sunday and think about his car all day, or he could be working on his car on Sunday and think about God all day. That was kind of his big thing.
Whoa.
And so he never did, he never went to church. He was always at the hot rod shop on Sunday, but that was his reset, right?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal that.
And it was true, because like when you are a hot rod guy, you're so focused on, the build or the next thing, or you just feel like you got to be there. And I think there is that religious connection for a lot of guys who are car guys.
Yeah, that's a good one. There is a certain peace and serenity in that. And I think if you're a go, go, go mentality, which I think that's why I ended up in this mess where we're sitting in, is you do need almost forced downtime. Outside of like that nut that you're closing your eyes so you try to imagine it and you're doing one of these.
Power steering pump on a Raptor.
Top nut on a starter for a Terminator, which I think 2/3 of them don't exist anymore because the guys never put it back on. It's like 18 attachments. No exaggeration.
I found myself in that. I was doing like an active crunch.
Like a yoga move.
My feet were like tied like this together, and I'm blindly reaching under the front axle to undo the nuts on the power steering.
Yeah, no one has abs like a man that works underneath the car on jack stands. No one. No. No, I think the methodical nature behind it. I mean, I could nerd out on that a lot, but yeah, I've had a lot of spiritual experiences working on cars, and I've met the coolest people doing it. So, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Now, if it's broke, fix it with friends.
Yeah.
So I know we've been talking about cars a lot, right? I think you and I have a shared passion in motorcycles.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't grow up in a hot rod shop. Like, cars to me came, 7-8 years ago, but I've always been into bikes. And I think you and I've kind of bonded over that. And so.
But why? Tell them why.
Honestly, it's just the freedom, right? I can go 10 miles an hour on a motorcycle, and I'll feel better, more alive than 200 miles an hour in a car.
And right? I don't. You could ride a moped, and motorcycles are fun.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Yeah.
But I was talking about the fact that I was on a Bring a Trailer again, and I bought a Top Gun bike.
Yes.
And then someone's like, "You should buy an H1." And I'm like, "Nah."
H2.
How many?
But yeah.
Or H2. Sorry, I'm thinking Humvees again. How long did it take you to buy your H2 at that point? 3-4 weeks.
It wasn't very long. Right.
And we got matching jackets.
Yeah. So yep. And at some point, we're gonna have to do a shoot together with the bikes and the jackets. I don't know. I think bikes for me just they were less expensive, right?
Yeah.
And so I could afford that when I was
yours, but anyway.
Huh? Not now. Now I have very expensive motorcycles. Not because I want anyway. But for me, it was like I could afford them, right?
Yeah.
And and I was able to kind of work on them a little bit, and it felt good to, like, for me, it was like putting on different fairings or different windscreen. I wasn't really messing with the motor. I was changing the oil sometimes, but for me, it was like the cosmetic part of it. And a motorcycle, it's a lot easier to walk around and change something than have to walk further around.
What's funny about a motorcycle is the car can cheat your talent, in my opinion,
Yep.
but a motorcycle can't.
Right.
It's good set of tires and I think the will to continue to live after the next turn.
Well, I read or heard something the other day on like a YouTube video or something. It was like find a man who is doing tight like circles in a parking lot and that's a man that can ride. Find a man that's going 150 in a straight line. That's a man that's brave, right? So there's a difference there where, you know, yeah, you can go faster and faster and faster, but at some point, you're just a little crazy, you know, going down.
If you ride behind somebody in a canyon that is extremely, I think of Ray, like on any bike, and you're watching him trail brake a bike, like in Moab, I've had this pleasure, and I'm on a pig of a Hayabusa, and he's on a Multistrada, and there was no keeping up. Like, I can drag knee on that bike, but what a talent to be able to throw that butt end. I mean, there's infinite videos, but to experience behind someone, you think like, on dirt bikes, I can follow somebody off this jump. I didn't feel like I could follow Ray through that corner. He's got years of experience on that. No, bikes are neat because I rotate. I always say, like, especially to working on them, I go car, motorcycles, guns. Car, motorcycle, guns. Because I get so upset with the cars because they're big, massive, contorted. You can sit on a stool and work on a motorcycle. And then when you get frustrated with that, I end up on a bench with a gun, and then when I'm like, oh, this is like a little toy. It's more the mechanics of it than the actual apparatus itself. And I do this breakdown, but I enjoy working on bikes just because it just feels a little bit more intimate. Yeah. It doesn't feel like it's manhandling you like a car can. So, but bikes, I'm a little sad that I feel like manufacturers through a good number of years didn't really produce anything that appealed to I don't know if it was in high school or like grade school when they're like, motorcycles will kill you. Helmets are brain buckets. They're murder cycles. Cell phones came out. Everyone turned into like a soccer mom with a Hummer, like that's going to run you off the road. But I feel like Harley fell off for a while with what they were designing. I feel like now we're starting to get into what is almost resto mods of bikes. And it makes me really want one. Like, I can't watch a Mission Impossible movie without going, I should own that by the end of the week. Like, he looks so cool on that. They're super sexy running through European cities and stuff. Bikes need to make a comeback full force, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think like that Cafe Racer, right? That was that regen of getting people interested. You see Indian Motorcycle doing it. All their bikes look great. Right?
Scrambler, trying up Bonneville, client just picked up the other day. All really good, unintimidating bikes, by the way. Like, if your wife's like, I'll learn today, get on the Triumph. Like, that thing's super easy. And the Enduros, of course. I feel like that's a little sign of age when you start getting into Enduros, but don't hate them until you ride one.
Well, I'll be honest. Like, I rode your, what did I ride? Your Harley.
My Night Rod.
Your Night Rod, right?
That was an impulse buy.
Yeah. And I'm from Milwaukee. I grew up around Harley. Like, I grew up to dislike Harley because
terrible bike, an awesome bike at the same time.
Not just the bikes, but the people that rode them. My mom was always a bartender, so we were always at a bar, and so were they. And I never really got along with the idea of a Harley. But like in the last like 3 or 4 months, I've been watching like these videos coming up of these Harleys with nitrous, and they're drag Harleys now, and they're keeping up with sport bikes, and it's like, I might want a Harley now, right?
Bagger racing reminds me of like semi-tractor trailer racing.
Yeah,
though.
Just so random and like niche. But yeah, when I was riding yours, I was like, I mean, you were on the H2 and you were just gone, right? It was kind of cool, like watching you go by me. But I was like, I'm just relaxed right now. Like, it's kind of comfortable. I can kind of enjoy the rides. I can see. I've always rode sport bikes up until that and one other Harley I rode up to the mountains that I did not enjoy at the time. But like, I think age is starting to show it. Maybe sitting back and relaxing a little bit, but still having horsepower.
Motorcycles, it's a cheap way to diversify your collection. Have a cruiser, and it could be a Gold Wing. The newer Gold Wings are actually kind of cool, by the way. It could be a sport bike, but like go full sport bike. Do a leader bike, and then you can have something just maybe a little bit more eclectic, like, I don't know, like a Cafe Racer that's sitting behind me. But having something for long hauls, like, you're missing out if you haven't gone on a long motorcycle trip. Even better if you sleep in a tent or getting rained on. I know you're not in it yet.
I mean, I said I would do it, like, at some point. Like, so Randy has
I've slept under enough underpasses and still owned a home, and it's been fun. So,
was it $1,500? Was that the budget that you wanted us to buy a bike on?
Yeah, like, I don't want to like let the idea out because I think I want to make it a real rich. We should share it with people. It's not a new idea. We've met people in bars in the middle of like Amarillo on 90cc motorcycles that were lawyers, and they're just All they want to do is just say, we wanted to see if we could ride across country. We're going to throw them in a dumpster, I think, in the next town and fly back home. But a long road trip, yeah, $2,000 budget for a motorcycle, surprise show up like a Top Gear show, and then go on like a 4-day ride. It has to be good enough to be like sustainable.
Yeah, right.
But you just don't, it's almost to prove the idea that one, long road trips are the bee's knees, and two, doesn't matter what you ride. And so, I mean,
I'm down, right? Will you get on a motorcycle for that?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Without a doubt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the real thing. I don't care about the motorcycles. I don't even care about how bad it's going to hurt at some point. I only care about spending time with you guys, because that's the fun part about it. Like you're gonna find yourself eating a burger in a really weird town at some point.
It's probably gonna be a really good burger.
You're
gonna have
correct.
the shits afterwards, but it's gonna be phenomenal for that half an hour that you're eating it.
And that'll be the first time that Brandon shits outside.
Would not be.
Okay.
Different story, different time. We've been talking about renting a lot and kind of the passion around seeing things through, start to finish, right? You're somebody that I I do business with. Like, I do all my insurance through you. Want to give you the opportunity to kind of explain, how you've gone from like this, mechanic gearhead to, someone who insures everybody that I know.
I think everybody likes the success story. I think when we were doing interviews, that was probably one of the more highlights. People want to know where people came from. So unfortunately, sometimes it's tied to like, hey, how do I have what you have? You want these problems? I'll unload these problems. But yeah, it started out in medical research and exercise physiology and running businesses, but it's always been entrepreneurial. And then I, at some point in my life, skipped over to insurance, which no one grows up wanting to be an insurance agent. You kind of should. I don't know if it's past now, but I ended up in this career that, ironically enough, probably taught me to be better. I guess I coined myself as being like the most reckless insurance agent you'll ever meet. And it's not for the I don't know what to say. It's like, it's not just because there's insurance in place. It's not about that. It's about having a protected and conservative nature to the activities you do. So basically, an analogy I use is like, you can free solo a mountain. You could be a great business owner and be climbing as fast as you can. But do you really want to free solo it, or do you want to be putting leads in behind you? Because really that's the protection that can offer. So through the years, it's taught me to be have better contingency plans, be a little bit more calculated. And ironically enough, that's ended up in like financial success, and I think relationship success too, because it's not always watching your six and being paranoid. I don't think that's what even insurance is about. But to kind of get back to your point, how did I end up in insurance, and where does this kind of end up? So people have a need. Find an industry that people have a need. Insurance was one of them. It can be complicated. I enjoy teaching people complicated things and putting it into more mundane terms. I often tell people, like, when I talk to you about like coding or anything, I'm like, okay, talk to me like I'm in 4th grade. I am paying attention and I do want to learn, but let's start there. To be able to run through the process of insuring like your dream car or the thing that you hold close to your heart, the accomplishment of buying a home and wanting to make sure that you're protected for it, or even wanting to at that point. Or I'll be honest, a lot of clients that are like, they don't care enough. And I'm like, oh man, life is going to slap you up against the face and you're really going to want something in place there. I have the privilege of articulating how I take that knowledge and put it towards my clients. Simple things like we were talking earlier, like, okay, you have a car, you think it's special. It could be special, it could not. I'll be the one that has a candid conversation with how that's going to result and how the products are going to line up against that. Like having an agreed valued policy instead of a stated value policy.
What does that mean? Because I get confused on that still.
Yeah, so first off, not every insurance company or insurance agent is going to know exactly how to cover your items. Their specialty. It's like being an attorney. You might be a contract attorney, but you don't know immigration or bankruptcy or family law or criminal law. So having somebody that knows what your needs are when it comes to automotive. So antique classics, that's one. So I do a lot of antique classics and exotics. Everyone wants a stated value for their exotic. do you really want that? Because the market on some of these cars have gone up. Clients aren't calling me every month going, hey, my Berlinetta is actually worth not 210, but it's actually 270 now. You have to keep up with a product like that typically. Meanwhile, you have somebody who has an antique classic and maybe they don't realize like, hey, I've got this Cornet Super B and I've had it insured for $24,000 and it's worth 60 now. So keeping up with a product, stated value and agreed value. Agreed value, it is a pre-underwritten product. A stated value, we slap a number at it. I won't do products like that. And then they have the idea to take it from here or down. Kind of like underwriting for life insurance, prior or post. People don't understand the difference there. I nerd out on that kind of stuff because my reputation's behind it. And I like to think that we have a lot of success stories, which is why people tend to trust us. That's why we have that reputation. So yeah, insuring those products and how that works with cars. Okay, I'll put a little pet peeve out there because everyone likes clickbait and conflict. Like, I have very little patience for clients that will spend a lot of money on a car and then completely hee-haw over the insurance cost of it. And I'm looking at them going, this is not of you. Like, this doesn't make any sense. And it happens a little bit more frequently than you'd think. And then you have clients that get it. We're trying to offer a service that is at a extremely fair price. I mean, we kick the crap out of other carriers if they could even insure it at all. But we want to take it a step further when it comes to the customer service and the explanation. I doubt you have very many good friends that always just tell you what you want to hear.
Of course not.
So I value business relationships when people tell me what I need to hear, not always what I want to hear. And so I try to do the best job I can to do that, and so does our staff. Because at the end of the day, let's finish this, and let's go for a drive. And let's not worry about what was it? We were on Crown Rally. I told this story on another one, but I'm out of the car at a stoplight, like a traffic stoplight that goes back and forth for miles in the middle of New Mexico, and Britt Douglas from Worldwide Vintage is in front of me in his twin turbo R8 that he just got. And I'm out of my car and I'm talking with one of our other buddies, and all of a sudden I hear crunch. And that Corvette had rolled into the back of his R8. My wife's in the passenger seat. I'm not in the car. The parking brake was a little stretched and I hadn't set it, and we were running the car because the AC was going and she wanted to sit in the car. I'm a nice guy. I'm going to let the AC run for her. But I ran into the back. Like, how do you handle a situation like that? Immediately frustrated from Britt. But the whole situation got taken care of, and I think he would be one to speak the praises for that. You got to understand how to handle it. You want to be sensitive to the Carfax. Okay, we can talk about that. I want to be sensitive to the resale value based on that. Okay, we can talk about that. You should really be concerned about the quality of the work. And there are good shops out there, but there are a lot of bad shops out there. So, I don't know. If you want to talk more about it, call me. So, shameless plug.
Yes.
Here we go.
Yeah. One thing that we like to touch on with our guests are like those moments where there's magic, right? And so I know you and I have a common ground of racing at the Bonneville Salt Flats. It's a select few. If you've been there, you get it. We talked on another podcast of a moment I had in a air-cooled Porsche where it just seemed like everything in my life lined up to that moment. With this incredible collection you have, and I'd love to know a story where you've just really had automotive bliss and why it was in the AC Cobra.
Why was an AC Cobra? I'll talk about your Bonneville thing real quick. I had the privilege of going to Bonneville with a friend a few years ago with a Hayabusa, relatively stock motor. It's not what you think it is. And it's one of the coolest automotive events in the world. I've been to a few. There's all humility there, and it is all respect. I know you can say this, like, you will not see someone's huge Prevost rolling on to the salt, unloading on a double stack. No, you won't see it. It's almost like they're not welcome. It is just raw racers, and it's like a sanctuary for racing. You have stock vehicles, they have how many thousands of classes? You can break a record there pretty easily if you pick some obscure thing.
Yeah, you're the only left-handed driver to run a MG.
It is that.
At 62 miles
Their
an hour.
letter system. Tech was actually, it felt a lot like the world's fastest Indian for me.
Yeah.
They did not want my seat to just hold my battery down. I was like, it's bolted on. The factory's like, nope. They made me go like 100 miles away and get plumbing strapping and fasten it into my bike. I'm like, guys, there's no way this battery is coming out. I mean, they're just trying to do their safety stuff, but it took me a day and a half to pass tech on a stock Hayabusa.
Yeah, I will say that, like,
A little pet peeve on that one.
with like the Pikes Peak Hill Climb, nothing against that, but I've heard like you need to apply the year before you actually want to race
For the rule book alone.
because they will just deny you. You know, who are you? Why are you applying? I feel like Bonneville Salt Flat Tech is that way. They are also like, first pass through, you're going to get denied. Doesn't matter. We're not letting you through.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Rite of passage, like residency for a doctor, right? I get
Yeah.
it. But be able to go out there, I humbling moments there. I pull up next to a beautiful brushed metalled 32 Ford Coupe with a flathead Ford in it. No, flathead Ford, or I'm not saying the knucklehead. Anyway, don't. Cheers. Old man, 85. Beautiful dimple dye roll cage on the inside. And he's like, son, how fast did you go on that last pass? I was like, well, 184. He's like, brother, you're doing amazing. How often you been coming? I said, this is my first day. He's like, oh. I'm like, is that pretty good? I'm like, you need to slow it down. This guy's about to give you knowledge. He's like, I've been coming for 35 years with the same car. I'm hoping to hit 111 this year. Now, given this is a 30s motor in his car.
Yeah, of course.
And just looking at the car, I'm like, oh, wow. And this man, it's a fraternity. But my ending moment at the Salt Flats.
Did he go 111?
Did I go 111?
Did he go 111?
I don't know. I didn't get to follow up with him. There's two different tracks. They're pretty far away.
Okay.
I mean, you're miles from the pits, let alone. I tried riding my one wheel from the pits to the starting line. I haven't ever done a squat workout that hurt so bad. I thought my knees were going to buckle. You're literally on salt. We had this voice. It was like, it sucks the life out of you. It's like, you have some water? I'll take it from you. That's the salt. It sucks everything out of you. But I lined up for a last pass on the 7-mile course, the longer course. That's getting torn up by 4,000 horsepower rails, right? I'm like, I got to squeeze more because I 198.6. I wanted to get to 200 with a stock motor. And I mean, also teased me because I had a black leather with a black bike at the Salts. Learned that lesson. I would have gotten a rattle can out and gone like this if I had white paint. But I'm on the last one, and I'm trying to stretch it out, and I just clearly can't get past 198. I'm moving myself around. I describe it as like I'm adjusting myself in like a golf cart on a Sunday, on the bike, holding two fingers, trying to find that perfect pocket, like putting my chin up. And I've been doing 190 some miles per hour for multiple miles. And I realized how comfortable it was, and I shouldn't have been, because you never have traction. You're always sliding. And I started to tear up in my helmet. It was like almost like a Ford versus Ferrari moment where I started backing off the throttle. I took my helmet off. I put it on the side. You're not supposed to do that. And I rode the 7-mile track back, and I just looked up at the mountains. I'm like, you got to be more careful. You got to be more respectful for what you did. You just accomplished a boyhood dream.
Yeah.
What did you race when you were there?
So I like to tell this story. I raced Bonneville Salt Flat pre-Hellcat, and there's a reason why I say that. You could not just go to a dealership and buy 770 horsepower.
Yeah.
It was 2008.
Okay.
I built a 1974 Camaro Z28 with a 383 stroker. And this was my daily because I was a dummy, and I lived in Florida, and I would drive to college during the day. And days I wasn't in school, I'd go work at Napa Auto Parts because I got a discount on car parts. And so this was my daily, and I decided to go racing in it. And I'd been doing 8th Mile at that time because that was the local racetrack. And I just got it in my gut that I just had to do this. You know, I grew up reading Hot Rod magazine in what I consider to be the heyday, the early 2000s, right, for my generation. And I just had to do it. And so planned the trip, built the car around it, overgeared the car in the wrong direction.
The wrong direction.
Well, I did 283 gears, and I should have left a little on the table. I should have probably done like 311s because then I got out there and
overdrive didn't work.
So here was the issue. You can run, you have 3 courses. You have the 7 mile or 5 mile, depending on the weather that year. They have like a 3 mile or maybe 3 and 5 mile.
The year I was there, they had 2.
Okay. And it does depend on the weather.
And the salt, the old guys would tell you, was the best salt in 20 years.
Yeah. And it does depend on how it floods, how it hardens up. But there was this, like you said, there's always that weird record, right? And I was going for the 130 mile an hour club. And it's a standing mile. And so I was doing it in the 74 Camaro, which of course got no traction for the first half mile. And then it was just a race to try to get past the air to get this boat of a car to do 130 in a standing mile. And now everybody I tell that story to, they're like, 130, like, geez, I can do that in my minivan. It's like, well, yeah, you're on asphalt 1.
I know. People don't understand that it's literal granule salt. And my favorite part is when you go back and somebody gives you advice, like, oh, you should tape this shut. Or I heard in 2 different pits, hey, you need to let air out of your tire. The next lady in a turbo R1, oh, you're not running out of tire pressure in your bike. I'm like, okay, all right. This is clearly just a hodgepodge of fun and experience, and I'll just kind of try to figure it out myself.
There is. So I was literally, I'm a 24-year-old kid, and I'm like sculpting my own aero. So I had like a fiberglass front that I was trying to dial in and shave off, and then one guy was like, you're pushing a barn door through the wind. You got to cut it off. And of course, he was in a big streamliner, so I listened and I cut it off. And then high-speed tape. There's one CarQuest in Wendover, Utah, and I spent more money at that than I ever did at Napa in 5 years trying to chase this, because I would run the 1 mile and I'd hit 128, 129, 126.
Oh, you were close.
I was so close, and I could not justify spending every last dollar I had as a broke college kid going all the way out to the Salt Flats to leave at 128. Like, it wasn't going to happen. And so you get 5 runs on a ticket, and I bought 3 tickets. And on my very last run, it was either Saturday or Sunday morning, they were literally like, we're done at noon. We're not timing anymore. And I ran into a problem all week where Top Gear was there filming. And so Jeremy Clarkson, and so they were delaying our runs. And it was one of the coolest car moments I had. I was there at 6 o'clock in the morning trying to get the calm air.
Well, it's the theoretical altitude at that point.
Right.
You want that
moisture,
good morning air. Yeah.
And Clarkson pulls up in his Corvette ZL1, and the director comes over and he's like, all right, we've got these big boys filming. He's like, do you mind if they just get this one shot? They got the helicopter. And I'm like, I need this air. Like, I need this.
You said no to clear.
No. And I said, and so I'm sitting there full helmet, and I'm just like, okay, like, yeah, that's fine. Let him go first. And I'd been waiting in line all morning. And so
You're way nicer than me.
He pulls up, and he turns over, and he gives me like the hug, and I'm like, cool, I got the way from Clarkson. That's good. I can die a happy man. So he runs, and then I've been messing with timing, and I just cannot get this car dialed in. And so I just put my foot down, and I was like, I'm going to spin. And the car had been bouncing over in the high wind. People don't realize when you lose traction on the salt flats, you can skip 4 feet over, no problem.
Without a doubt.
In a car. And
until you do it on a bike.
I remember going this fall. You and I and Rick.
And so that I think it was like my 3rd pass left on my last ticket. You get 5 passes on a ticket, and I hit 130.8. Now, as you know, in the salt flats, 1 run doesn't matter.
No, you got to do it twice to count.
You got to back it up. So I immediately loop back, and now the car's hot, and I'm like, sweating. I'm like, I gotta go. And get to the line, and I think the second time I ran, it was 131.3, and so I averaged just high enough to get into the 130 mile an hour club. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it breaks.
Which, once again, people hearing this are like, 130 club, good job.
Yeah.
Like you said, my minivan goes that fast.
Right.
It is a different beast.
It is. And
I watched a guy dump out on a moped at 120. Good for him it was like hopped up moped, going for a record like anybody else. There's guys that pull trailers out there for records.
Yeah.
But to see, it's a different beast.
One of the coolest things outside of all that, but the first day we rolled into the salt flats, there was a guy in like a 1948 Chrysler towing a 30s or 40s motorcycle that he was actually racing with, and he was just camping out there. I mean, it was just, both were rat rotted.
You see the coolest stuff out there.
And it was that level of dedication.
There was one guy that had a 50s Dodge flatbed, had a crane on the back of the flatbed, and it unload his shovel head Harley on a winch to lower down. It was expensive, but it didn't look expensive. But he had put the wrench timing on it, and it was, I think he was going for like 131 or something like that. So cool to see, perfect patina matching. That's the kind of stuff you see out there.
The other really cool experience, unless you're there, that you wouldn't expect is like diesels, because when you see a diesel go for a record, there's just that contrast of white salt with this black line, and the mountains are just being divided perfectly by this black line of diesel. It's the coolest thing.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
No, Salt Flats is a good one. I'm excited to go.
You recently went on a trip to Hawaii, I believe, right?
Oh, that's a good one, Brandon. I didn't even. Yeah. So, actually, wow. I have this song I like to put behind videos that we do for automotive stuff, and it's I don't like using it unless it's a moment for me. So that's actually a good thing. Road to Hana is not appropriately done at high speeds. But when you have a two-road Porsche 718 Boxster and you just had a really nice lunch, and it seems like any tourism that goes around the backside of that island, you're kind of beating out. You can rip the road to Hana pretty quick. It is not safe. Don't suggest it, but I did it. But that wasn't the good one. It was coming down from the volcano. Everyone goes up for sunset. We happen to grab a parking spot. It's cold as heck up there. And we're watching above the clouds and everything. And I get this from my dad, where it's like a sporting event or anything's like about to be done. He's like, "Come on, let's go." And you're like rushing out. Like, I still do it at church. Like, I'm like, hey, if I beat this, I don't hit Walker guy back here where he's going. Like, I can't stand it. It screws my brain. So of course we see sunset. I was like, "Come on, Michelle, let's go." So we hop in the car, and there's like 3 cars ahead of us because they had they shut it down to a certain point. Surreal. To the point where it's not meant to be a play here, but like, I would ship a car to Maui to time that right again, to do that 30 minutes of driving and put it on a boat and send home. We did down from that volcano, and I got ahead of a few cars and maybe some double yellows. We didn't see a car for 35 minutes, and I'm railing this white 718, right, Boxster, whatever. I'm railing it, and the road is pitched perfectly, and I think it's recently paved, or it's just good because it's Hawaii and nothing ever happens to it. But the lines and everything, I was flowing, and you're above the clouds, and then you're coming through the mist, so I was a little bit more careful. So cool. And then you're coming down into what is the jungle, and my wife leans over, because she's a good sport, teases me and is like, "Are you crying?" I'm like, "That was the drive of a lifetime." She's like, "It was pretty good." And I was like, "It wasn't pretty good. That was the drive of a lifetime." And it was in a Porsche, which I kind of love to hate, but it was good.
I drove the 718 at Automotive a few years ago.
You loved flicking that
4-cylinder. I was
having a blast
driving that car.
Yeah.
And it did everything I wanted to do.
Maui, actually, because I had the opportunity to move to Hawaii, but I like road trips too much, so I ended up moving here for career stuff. And but man, 2 epic drives in 1 week, and what is considered like, the poor man's Porsche kind of thing, was fantastic. That's definitely an experience. I don't know. I mean, we can all sit here and be like, "Hey, it's cool to try to hit like 175 in a straight on the highway." I think a few of us have done it. Not me. I've never done that.
No, never.
But that's cool. But to get a moment where you feel like you're not being unsafe, you're not putting anything in danger, you find like a flow state with it, and you have a connection with the car. I'll be honest, I like Miatas for the same reason. I've done Gore Creek Canyon in a Miata that was all clapped out. That's my line to say, like, what is it, Mad Dog roll cage and coilovers and stuff. Maybe ran from a police officer that night because I was so scared. Maybe not, but good canyon roads in a car. I'll always love Miatas because of that.
Yeah.
Got an emotional story while we're kind of diving into that. So I have an MV. It's been in the shop for,
Beautiful bike.
thank you, now almost 2.5 years. Apparently they put 30 miles on it in the last week or so. I should be getting it soon. We'll see. We'll see. But I had sold my Audi, didn't have the motorcycle, didn't have another bike, and Carla my wife had a Ninja 650, which is not fast, right? It's a 2-stroke, top speed 100 miles an hour, and that's downhill, right? And you're with a tailwind that's strong.
Do you think motorcycles are like rental cars? Like if it's a slower and you drive it fast? Because I drive my Prius pretty reckless, or not recklessly, but like aggressively. When you drive a slow motorcycle fast, does it give you the willies? Do you like it?
No, it makes me wish it was faster. Realistically, yeah. But I was driving to a coffee shop, and I was like, "Can I ride your bike today?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's just sitting here." And she was pregnant.
Sounds so grade school.
Yeah.
Can I ride your bike today?
Yeah. And I was kind of going down a hill and going 35 miles an hour. I had my music on my headphones, riding the slowest motorcycle I've ever ridden. And I just this is the best day of my life. I pulled over, got the tears out of my eyes.
Sorry, James. He doesn't mean that.
Yes. Well, I knew he was coming. He was like a couple months away. But I was like, this is more fun than I've had going 200 miles an hour just because I can. Right? Because there was a moment. There was an emotional attachment to the freedom and the release and the enthusiasm of being like, I can do what I want right now. Might be going 30 miles an hour, but I'm still choosing to be on a bike.
Yeah.
Just finding bliss.
There's a fine line with the weather too. Like you got the hardcore bikers, and then you got like that perfect weather.
Yeah.
If you're not riding a bike, you're like, oh, it's kind of nice out. You get on the bike, you're like, it's actually way colder than I think it is.
30 degrees colder immediately.
Yeah. But there is perfect weather for riding a bike and perfect tarmac conditions and stuff, and yeah, it's a super blessed day when you get to just rip and you're like, oh, that all came together. You weren't sweaty in your jacket,
right?
So you didn't miss any shifts. You didn't stall it. I mean, I don't know. All these variables can happen. So
yeah, I think what kind of brings us all together, like in this world of enthusiasm and enthusiasts, right, is just find. I used the word bliss a minute ago, but being able to find bliss while you're in a car, while you're on a bike or on a boat or on a plane, right? I think that is when you can really define yourself as an enthusiast. Right?
Yeah, you said boats. You guys are doing boat stuff.
We're doing
right?
boats.
We are doing boats.
Coming soon, right? What's interesting about boats is that, planes have tail numbers, vehicles, cars, and bikes have VINs. Boats don't, and there actually isn't a national registry of a way to identify what boat you have.
But what do you have your state registry right across the bow?
Right. Yeah, you have that number that goes on the
It's
front.
like your license plate.
But there's not. So with the VINs, there's actually a national registry,
Okay.
and planes national registry.
That's more like a license plate, hard to get the information from.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And so it's there, right? And we're gonna explore it. But I say
Let's go
boats.
down to the Miami Boat Show and figure this out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's on our list.
Yeah, like I was telling Brandon, I remember, of course, we both lived in Florida, but I remember going to the poker runs, and it was how Katie and I would go on cheap dates. So we would go to the marinas, and we could not afford to,
You would
of course.
just oogle the boats? Is
I
that a
would just
date?
go, that was it. We would go have a cheap meal and walk the marinas and go look at these boats. Because the guys would show them off, too. So, they on poker runs, if you don't know this, they would park them at the marinas. They'd have the hoods up on the back so you could see the three.
It's a hot rod show.
Yeah, they'd have neon lights. It was like a spectacle. It was like Fast and Furious on water. And then you could stand on top of the bridges. And if you timed it right, they'd all run underneath you, and you just try to take photos.
What was your favorite boat when you'd go?
So for me, Donzi, I always grew up with Donzi, and I know you're a cigarette guy. We have a good story with you buying the most expensive hat of all time.
I hope you like my hat. It was expensive.
But then MTI boats came out, and that was a game changer. I mean,
And the owner's name is Randy, so you gotta like him.
There you go. I mean, those a catamaran and those speed, it blew my mind.
Yeah.
And that was the closest I thought you would ever get to a cockpit in a fighter plane on water. I mean, it was just the coolest thing.
That's something I haven't experienced. Everything that I've heard, the Florida Keys and boats, they're synonymous, but it is an incredible experience to be able to shoot down. I mean, you can be right next to the, what is it, 7 mile, 13 mile bridge? What is that, out to Key West?
It's long. I think it's longer than both of those.
Okay. That's my dream, is just to be down. I mean, I've been down there, boated down there, but not on a go fast boat, man. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'd want to, like, maybe saran wrap some, like, baking flour together.
Just
to have it. Like, it feels like Miami Vice. Like, call me Don for the rest of the
Sure.
day.
Right.
Like, Bad Boys. Like, just that you guys got to live down there. I would love to have a place down there. That just seems like a...
It's a different life.
Yeah, but it also seems like a... I mean, I could get down on, like, a Midnight Express center console with, like... How many 450 Mercs can you fit on the back of that?
Five. You can fit 5
I think
outboards.
You can fit 6.
Yeah.
Somebody put that in the comment section, but
You probably do 6. That's
no, I want a cigarette bet. Like this, I have everything I've ever wanted in life, and I'm very thankful for it. But if there's one thing on my list of to be able to experience or own, love to do poker runs. Whether it be like maybe not Lazy of the Ozarks, that's got its own following and everything, but it just sounds like Havasu.
Yeah, Havasu would be good.
That'd be one, but why go Bush League when you can go right to Fort Lauderdale, Miami, St. Pete?
Salt. That's why. Because there's 2 advantages to Ozarks and Havasu.
Very true. The maintenance side of me kind of. Well, I'm not a boat mechanic, so
someone else's problem.
Yeah,
When you go into Miami, there's houses that are kind of like their own, like, man-made peninsulas, and there's giant boats docked at these people's homes that are bigger than their houses, and these houses are not small.
Yeah.
And you're just driving by, you're like, I wonder what that life is
My
like.
favorite is Michelle has some family down in Treasure Island.
Yeah.
And he's got a nice Viking. Like, he wanted to put bigger motors on it. Pretty humble about what he was. It's like a beautiful little spot. He's got his boat, but as we were kind of cruising out on the jet skis and stuff, there was a guy that probably has like a 800 square foot bungalow. And I shit you not, that he had 4 boats on the back. Yep. And we're talking quad motors, all different kinds. He had a pontoon, had a cruiser, had a center console. And I just look at Michelle, she's like, why are you so enamored right now? Because that guy had doubled the house value and boats on the back. Like, terrible investments, awesome toys. Like, this is insane. So, yeah, definitely something I want to experience. I mean, you got to do that, but I'd like to own one for a minute.
Yeah.
I don't have to own it forever, but a minute.
I think if you go into it knowing it's a terrible financial decision, you're fine. You just got to know that.
Yeah.
You just got to know that.
It's a bad idea.
It's a bad idea.
You coming?
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
But you're going to have a ton of fun.
When I lived in St. Pete, I was part of a boat club. And so I paid, I think it was $5,000 for initiation.
Okay.
And then you just pay for fuel and a couple $100 a month for membership.
Yeah.
And you would reserve your boat on the app.
Love this.
And then you would just show up. You would pick the boat, or the boat would already be pre-picked because you had to reserve it. They'd take you out.
I thought you were going to get all emotional, like the boat picked me.
No, I picked the biggest boat that was available for that day, right? And then, brought my friends out with me. That was the thing. It was a social thing. It was like, hey, I'm going on the boat. Can I come? Yeah, that's why I'm telling you I'm going on a boat.
Yeah.
Right?
You can also chip in for gas if you want.
And they did, right? And they brought the beer and they brought the snacks. And, and for me, I didn't enjoy piloting as much or captaining as much as I did just kind of like watching others. Kind of like The Sim. Like, I built The Sims, others could use it. Like, for me, boating was like just the ability to share kind of that experience with somebody as being on the water. And then I could return the boat and put gas in it and then go home.
Now, I'd be excited to see that pop up on DashTag to see, because I would sit there and just nerd on. I'm like, oh, look at the hole on that. That's got a step side. Wait, when did the step side come out? I'd be like, oh, that's got the new R motors. Like, I actually know a little bit more about boats than No, it's a blast. That and the planes. You're doing the airplane stuff too.
Yep, planes are gonna be pretty cool.
Carbon Cubs and all that jazz.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're gonna do like live tracking, so you can share like where you are, like on your flight route with your friends if you want to. It's gonna be kind of cool. We already have like a 3D globe of events, and it's gonna kind of just like be on top of it. It's gonna be really cool.
Think real life Forza Horizon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you and I were talking the other day about questions that we ask people that come on the podcast, and you had the one that we didn't ask previously that I'm going to ask now, and it was, what is the one that got away?
Oh, So all my Jeep Wranglers, I wrote my name and phone number inside the glove box. If you own a Jeep Wrangler and you see an 815 number inside, please call me. I'll buy it immediately. I never wanted to let cars get away, which is why I kind of stopped selling. I'm selling some now because I'm getting more. It's just not as important anymore. I got a big family and a lot of projects, and I want to enjoy the ones I have. But the one that got away as of now, because I haven't sold in a while, like exact car that I had.
I mean, I was more of like the car that you wanted to buy and weren't able to. It's kind of where I was going with that.
Oh, okay. Because for a car that I own that I want to get back, it's a GT350R.
Okay.
I traded it straight up for my AC Cobra. Made out like a bandit on that deal, but still a fantastic car.
What year?
It was 17.
Okay.
2,000 miles on. I think I put 300 miles on it before gentleman over at Elevation Motors like, I got an AC Cobra for you, and we traded pinks. I've done that now 2 or 3 times. That's kind of fun. That's like not a myth. Like you can do that. Old guys still do it. I started doing it a while ago. Trade pinks. Car that got away, like that I want.
Car, bike, just something that you were like, oh, I really, yeah. Unless
I
I
mean,
misunderstood the question that you said that you would ask your guests.
Oh well, I mean, okay, so car that I would want to have has always been like a 0506 GT. They're getting up there in price. I don't know if they're worth the money past where they're at right now.
A couple of them.
Where are they?
Douglas
Over
County.
like teens?
They're all solidly into the 4s now. At the high 2s, they were a bargain. In the 3s, they were good. Above 4, I want to coil over mine and whipple it, and I want to burn tires off monthly. But I really want a high mile one because it's just a 5.4. Like I just rebuilt the 5.4 of my Cobra R because I blew it. That motor was like the test mule for what was going to go in the 2000 Cobra R, 5.4 Triton. Well, not a Triton. It was like a Navigator motor. But then eventually that evolved into the 5.4 that's in the GT. Different motor. It's not the same, but same idea. They Eaton supercharger. I don't know if the value's there because it's hard because you can get a GT2 for that.
Sure.
And that also will appreciate in value and arguably a better car, but maybe not the presence of a GT. So that would be a car that I'm kind of questioning. Now I feel like I've put it back to I'd rather just have a really nice 66 GT40 replica that just sounds like popcorn when it starts up. You know, like a gurney headset on it and everything. So there's that. I still want a 32 Ford Coupe, or not, Roadster. There's a 29 sitting over there, actually. It's not mine. But I really want a 32 with a real Ford motor. I don't want a Chevy motor in it. There's a few things. But Ford GT, I never wanted a Countach. I always wanted a 458 Italia. That's still a good car. I still think it's kind of like whiskey. Like you're like, is this a really good value? Is it right on point, or are they overpriced?
Yeah.
I look at cars the same way. I still think a 458 Italia is right where it's supposed to be.
If they jumped 170.
They did jump. I remember wanting to buy one before the rally for like 125 grand with like an aftermarket wing. Should have done that.
At that same time, now they're in the 2s again.
We could have a whole podcast about values of cars and where they've gone, but for me, that's where it's at right now. Although my collection's starting to be like, I do want to move towards a few different cars. I'd like a V12 stick shift Aston, really jonesing for one of those. I have now more respect for the Porsches. I have that 06 Carrera that I just threw the book at with HREs and all this stuff over here. No, not the 996.
Yeah, I saw this HREs the other day, and I'm like, that is just a perfect
I have 2 Porsches now, and I
fit.
don't drive them. But yeah, that's a good daily. I'll plan on plowing miles on that. It's a 4. So Carrera 4, I'll just... That's a kind of car that you can just drive and drive and drive. And then by the time that you're done driving it or done braking it, you can resto the whole thing and it'll be worth everything. That's what's cool about those. So, but yeah, real quick. Dream car you're certain you'll get, go.
So my first car was a 66 Mustang.
Do you want another one?
I do, but I want to do...
You missed the whole point and shoot answer thing.
I want to do the GT350. I want the Ken Miles Flying Mustang.
Chad's got a clean one.
He'll
sell it to you.
Yeah, I'm sure, for all the money on...
No, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
GT350?
I think 350 would be
Wimbledon
one.
white with the blue stripes?
Yeah, I mean, how could you not?
Chad, he'll be calling you. What's yours? Go to.
It's a bike. It's a motorcycle. It's
No. I have to have a car. Go.
Gotta have the car.
Yeah. Dream
Tesla.
car you will have. Go.
Huracan.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, go back to the bike.
I don't know. I've always liked Lambo. I was never a big car person, but I had pictures of Lamborghinis on my walls.
Yeah.
I just think Huracans are just the glorified R8, and the R8's a phenomenal vehicle.
Top 3 sounding motors, top 3 best built
the
motor.
V10s, they are
Probably,
amazing.
yeah.
I mean, I had the 2.5 liter, inline 5. I think that was still one of the best sounding motors ever. I think it'd be like having like an 80s, Audi S1 could be cool. There's 4 answers for you there. Sorry.
What's the bike?
It's a Super Veloce, MV Agusta. It's Series Oro is what they call it.
You are a glutton for punishment.
I am. Yeah, it's a $110,000 bike.
Okay.
It would probably live here. I'd probably never ride it.
Yeah.
It just
We can build a little mount on the wall and display it next to the the Any Given Sunday Baja 1000 bike.
a
Over
bunch
there.
of MVs hanging on your ceiling.
We should hang everything up here and then have a way to bring them down and ride them on a Sunday.
Yeah.
So
How about you? What's the
Yeah.
go-to dream?
for a bike,
No, just in
No.
general.
oh, I think it's that Ford GT. But
Yeah.
That's it?
like I said, I'm getting to the point where you said it earlier. Do you know how many tires I buy a year? And not just because I'm being dumb and doing burnouts, which is awesome and fun, but just I had somebody come in and help me. I put the lift in here just so that we can get, like, things just deteriorate. Like it's like exercise. There's a bunch of geriatrics in here for all I know. They're on trickle charges finally and everything. I don't want to say that I want to make the collection more significant. Like, there's a 96 Cobra over there, Mustang Cobra. Smells delicious. My favorite smelling car. And it's perfect. It's got 30,000 miles on it. It's not even worth that much. It might be worth 15 grand. I'll sell it for 15 grand. It's PPF'd. It's got one of 250 cast Cobra R wheels on it from a real Cobra R. And it just, I don't know that I need that anymore. I don't know that I need the Terminator. I'm selling the Terminator now. I want to thin it out and actually, I don't know, it's kind of like reading the Bible. I don't want to find out what the cars say to me this time. Like, I don't want to go out and be like, oh, I really want that, or this is an impulse buy, or I want a Ford Lightning, or I want this other thing, or I finally need 2 Porsches or anything else, or I get that 458. I actually want to just kind of go out and go, what, kind of like you said, like, what's really going to speak to me at this point? Yeah. I don't know what those cars necessarily are yet.
Gonna be a Prius probably.
Yeah, fourth
The
one.
new one, right? They have a nice body on them. They're kind of cool looking.
LS swap.
Tell me you're financially savvy without telling me you're financially savvy. You can tease all you want.
No,
But,
I mean I'm not. Like I think it's funny because you drive the Prius, it's kind of hard, and then our buddy Nate will drive them 10 miles under the speed limit, right? So there's 2 very different kinds of Prius
That's true.
drivers.
He'll rally too.
Oh, okay.
No, cars. I don't want to say they've lost their zeal for me a little bit. It's just having 4 kids and a wife and opportunities at this point in my life. You got to remember, I've been in like fitness aspects my whole life, like dodging injuries, and I always planned on driving and racing being my backup. There would be a day where my back or my elbow or something would go out significantly, and I always banked on, because we'll go stir crazy if I can't get out. A lot of you guys can appreciate that. Driving was always going to be there. The funny thing is they don't tell you your vision goes. It starts to hurt sitting in a seat. And I'm not trying to sound beyond my age. I turned 40 this year. But I think there might be something like a Bentley Continental GT convertible in powder blue with a white interior.
No hate
And I'd be
there.
like, you want to tease? My wife loves it.
Yeah.
And she didn't want a diamond ring. And she didn't want this. She just wanted to cruise around in a really cool car. By the way, it's 2010. We got it for steel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, just...
Great car.
Oh, and by the way, I single staged the paint myself. Didn't know if we should use Adams or Geon on this, but like it's just a little different. It won't be a yacht or anything else like that. It'll just be fun cars that kind of find me.
Yeah.
I do want a limo in my life. There you go. There's your mic drop. I want a limo. I have the space for it.
With horns.
I was gonna say Cadillac.
I want to drive my kids to school in it. I want to get a bunch of buddies together and do silly things in it. I want to do donuts in a high school parking lot, maybe hit a light post. We need to own a limo. It's like Daniel Tosh when he's like, money doesn't buy you happiness, but it buys you a jet ski. I've never seen somebody frown on one of those.
Exactly.
Like, I want a limo. Like, watch me drive the limo. I'll be with like the chipped tooth, like Jim Carrey. Excuse me, put another shrimp on the barbie. You know, like I would love to do that. So
you need the like 80s Lincoln version, like the real.
I don't know if I
ugly.
want a Lincoln or Cadillac. All I know is that we need a limo. Yeah. I've actually tried to buy one already. It just didn't work out. So, but hey,
where are we on timer now?
We're
I was
over.
gonna say
We're over. So we're over. But there's a question that we've been asking that I want to make sure we ask again.
Oh, I was gonna say thanks for having me on and just get up and
No, we got one that we like to end with, and we're losing lights, so obviously you didn't pay the power bill here, which is great.
If you
it's out of battery, but there you go.
That's it.
Yeah, we'll blame the batteries. All right.
Yeah.
If you could go back and talk to your 16-year-old self, or anybody who's kind of currently in that age range in this generation, you know, to help guide them to essentially, you know, what you've collected, whether it's the vehicles or the lifestyle or the family, what can you provide to our listeners to kind of help them, coach them? Yeah.
We're talking to a 16-year-old with a car passion.
We're talking to us. Sure. Yeah.
Yes, I'd say someone who would be interested in DashTag. So someone who has a motorcycle passion, a car passion.
Everyone sees these particular cars, and it's very easy at this point in time to like drown yourself in a car payment. I just started buying gobs of cars just a few years ago. It was always one or two. I always paid cash for them. The reason I did that is because debt will haunt you. And when you're young, appreciate what you have and wrench on that car. I wrenched on an 05 Ford Focus stick shift for a long time. There's nothing wrong with that. I wrenched on that Jeep. That Jeep's had 3 motors in it. I paid $7,000 for that Jeep years ago. That's one car. They could all go. I'll never sell it. I can't. So when you're a 16-year-old kid, it's you have these dreams and you want to do this and you want to reward yourself. I just told you at the beginning, I rewarded myself later on in life. But it was after I earned having a beautiful family and some disposable income at that point. But it was never about that. If you're chasing being able to afford like a GT500 or maybe a earlier model Mercedes or BMW, don't. I said it the other day. I was talking with somebody. Be a slave to your dreams and passions. Like the Bible talks about being an indentured servant. We talked about this the other night. It's not being a slave in the sense. It means like paying your debt, paying your dues, and serving a good master. Your dreams and your goals are a good master, but no one's handing it to you. You will earn it. When you do that, then you'll have these ideas of like, oh yeah, I think I'll do this. I think I'll get that. Everything has way more meaning. And then, yeah, it's if you're patient. Like I think the guys asked me the other night, like, why don't you have a Ford GT in the garage already? Like, yeah, I can afford one. I can, but I don't want one yet. Same reason why I won't go on a hunt in Africa. I ain't there yet. Mm-hmm. I still have some other stuff to do. It'll come. The patience is, it's the climax. You want to have the patience with it. You know, work your way up. Don't jump right in.
Delayed gratification.
Delayed gratification is the best gratification.
Yes.
So even automotively, like it's the physics that goes beyond life with that stuff. Be patient, be humble, and then one day you'll be surprised. Like it almost like the decision can't evade you, like it's handed to you. Like you're like, oh, I have to say yes. Those are the best ways to be able to, just be a slave to your passions or your goals. Yeah. You'll get there. It's just be patient. Easy to say. I'm over here. But now I hear that from 65-year-old men. I'm like, yeah, I'm listening. Yeah. I didn't know this 10 years ago, but I know it now really, really well. And I'm thankful for it.
Yeah.
So it's a good question.
Well, that's great advice.
Yeah.
First, thank you for letting us take over your garage.
Always welcome.
This is a great home.
I feel like you'll be here. You like the couch?
We do
Is it
like
comfortable?
the couch. It's a little heavy. We have tried to move this a few times.
It is now stuck right here.
It's 600 pounds. I'm almost like, guys, it's got a real authentic
that
rusted
much
bumper.
weight?
Yeah, it weighs 600 pounds.
Now I feel proud.
If we could get some casters on it for the next show,
I pulled that couch out of the couch you're sitting on is a 53 Cadillac, 56 that I picked out of a junkyard in Iowa and had made into that couch.
So 50.
That is not an accident.
53, which is kind of a cool year for Caddy. This was the first car ever to have tail fins, and this kicked off the tail fin craze in the 50s.
Oh, you know what you're sitting in.
I do know what I'm sitting in. And Mercedes and Plymouth followed, and they called these tail fins, I think Plymouth called them like rear wing, some stupid thing, and they said it reduced crosswind draft on the highway by 30%. I mean, it was just nonsense. But yeah, this was the first car. This is what kicked off the whole tail fin. Of course, and then like 60 was like the beautiful Cadillac Coupe de Ville tail fin that had
Appreciate the information, nerd. I love this. This is great.
You should probably run a platform that has to do with, vehicle knowledge.
We should probably like preserve history. Maybe that would be. Yeah.
No, but I'm happy you guys are using the space, and thanks for letting me talk tonight.
No, thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Been great, Randy. You're the
Cheers.
best. Cheers.